Hi, I'm Mattias Skoglund, the director of the Home, currently showing at the Fantasy Film Fest.
How did you work on the music, on the soundtrack for the Home?
The music, I worked with a composer from Iceland called Tóti Guðnason, and also a sound designer from Estonia called Mattias J. So it started with me when I started the writing and starting the preparation for the shooting. I usually collected sounds that I have in my own library and that I wanted. I'm working through different like sound libraries and stuff like that, and from movies as temp sounds. I come from a radio background. Before I do a lot of only sound fiction, so that's something that I put a lot of emphasis on. So I work with the sound library and try to find the kind of sounds that I like, and that becomes like a vision input to them and to the work. And for this project, we worked a lot of quite closely with the sound design and the music to try to blend them a bit, so they kind of sort of like the sound is used in the score and vice versa, but so it started like that, and I know Totis and both Mattis are very ambitious and very love the idea of experimenting together and on their own. So it was really a nice process where Toti was doing these experiments with the instruments, and he recorded atmospheres too, and Mattis as well. And I had input, and then we started to build the soundscape of the world, and being bothered so much where the line were drawn between sound design and score. So I'm really happy with the way it sounds. It's pretty much as I envisioned it would sound. Not exactly, but that the feeling I was after.
You were inspired by a book, or you took a book as a reference. Could you tell a little bit what fascinates you about the story? How did you get to adapt it?
Well, for sure, it's a book. It's based on a book. I read it when it was about to come out. I knew the writer. He's a friend of mine, and it's called The Home. And it was various things I liked about the book. It felt very relatable in a way. I have relatives who's been suffering from dementia. I also felt very Swedish in the tone, and also very scary, and all those things combined, I thought like made it feel like eerie and scary, and also relatable and a bit emotional. And I like the characters, so I thought this would be. This could really be interesting in trying to adapt to for the screen. I also liked that it was very dark, but it also, to me, it was also a story about a person trying to confront trauma and his own problems. So I think it offers a little bit of hope, and it was also few locations, very that made it suitable for the budget I knew I had and stuff like that, or would be able to raise. So it was all those things. So and I did that adaptation. I wrote the script together with the writer of the book as well, and we knew each other from the beginning. It was always a bit tricky when you're working with the author of the source material. But I'm really happy with the process, and me and Mats, we had a really great time. I think it all clicked for us both when we decided to view the source material as not as we should do exactly the same as the book, but we're rather free about it, and try to figure out like what's this new thing about, and how can we keep what we really liked, what I liked about about the book, and then translate it and do something else for the screen.
Can you tell a little bit more about how you developed the character of Joel, the son, in the story?
The setup for Joel is the same. He returns home to his childhood town and his childhood home to take care of his mother and assist her in moving her into dementia home. The background for him, him being gay, not having any real friends left in the town, his best friends worked at the dementia home, and they're a bit estranged. All that is in the book as well. What's different is that the specific trauma that he has and how it's connected to the childhood home and the big story is different, and the way the horror is how do you say, just shown or from his perspective is also different, you know. But I was, and then there's differences, of course, in the way I approached it and the way I wanted to do him. I was looking for for an actor and that could express somebody that has a lot of internalized anger and physicality, and has a rather tough surface, but at the same time feels a bit how do you say, not soft, but yes, has a softer personality, you can say, that has that kind of duality, you know. So that was important for me to find, and I think I found it in Philip, the actor. We worked before, so I knew what he was capable of.
You shot in a real home for elderly people, right?
Yes, we did. That was so much fun. We shot it at an island of Stockholm called Gotland, which is our big vacation island. So we shot it in the spring, and we found this. It is a former elderly home, an old one, just in the middle of the countryside there, not even close to town or anything. It's really weird and eerie, and there was a local group of entrepreneurs that were just refurbishing it for opening up as a bed and breakfast for the summer, and this was in the spring. So we made a deal with them that we could be there and do whatever we want in terms of repainting and knocking off some walls and stuff like that. They were like, sure, just do it. They were happy to get the rent, and then so we it has like 3 or 4 wings. It's quite a big place. So we shot it in 2 wings, and then we lived in the other 2, both the team and the actors and everybody. So it's really nice way of really breathing and living the movie together. Really interesting.
Decided about the set design, about the looks of the film, but also maybe if you had specific references in filmmaking.
I did some. I mean, I did a lot of research prior to when I was working on the script with Mats, and as preparation for shoot, I spent quite a few days at dementia homes, just looking in, observing stuff, talking to nurses, visiting different places. So I knew by talking to people who worked at those places, and that they often, at least in Sweden, they try to work with certain color schemes, certain ways of being with the elderly, and in terms of the look at the place, they want it to be very clear colors, separated from wall and floored, so it's easy to navigate, and it should be soothing and calm and stuff like that. So my idea was like that, since this is not reality, and I wanted to have everything work towards the tone I was after. So my idea was that, well, it's on the countryside. The boss of the place which you meet in the movie, she's not the most ambitious person you get a sense of. So she hired a pretty bad designer, and they tried to go for that soothing, calming look, but it's slightly off all the time. You know, the colors are not that soothing. They're not terrible either in most cases, but there's something off all the time, especially. And then it grows. I mean, the corridor in the end, we also bump up the colors as the movie progresses. But that's the idea. So it's a failed attempt of creating a calm, soothing place.
And concerning the references you may have had?
Yeah, our references for the actual movie. No, I didn't have any like, oh, let's no, not a specific movie in terms of, it's various movies that I rewatched movies that I find scary for some reason. Watched horror, watched other types of movies to get inspiration, but I didn't have any specific movie or movies that I was like, oh, let's do it like this. But not really.
The idea of getting old and to be in the possibility to land into a home for elderly, it's in itself a scary thought. Why did you want to add these genre elements, these horror elements to it?
I think I love genre movies. I watch horror, I watch sci-fi, I watch fantasy. You know, I like that a lot. I think like when they're done in when you really immersed in a genre movie like a horror, they could speak to themes in a way that a realistically movie could not. So to me, it's like it can potentially reach, I wouldn't say deeper, but it could be a more interesting experience sometimes. And I think in this movie, it is a very hard and relatable experience and theme in this movie, but it's also about other things to me. And I think using genre is a really nice way of trying to express that, you know, and express feelings that are complicated and hard to, you could express them in a more interesting way. I think for me, this movie, obviously it's about growing old and dementia and relationships. It's about friendship and forgiveness. There's a lot of things going on. But to me, like the main thing that I thought about a lot is control, the fear of losing control of yourself and your own mind. So it's a broader theme than dementia, that I think like we all share that fear, and one way of it could happen through this disease, but it can also, you could be afraid of that for other reasons. So some of the other characters like Nina, she has and her husband, they're also tied into this theme because it's another way of viewing that theme through. So I was thinking a lot about having most scenes connected by themes like that underneath it all, you know. And I think like the genre and the supernatural element helps in a way to communicate those themes. You know, it can make it very subtle things a bit clearer, and it starts making your mind think. So yeah, it's interesting. I like that.